Hi and welcome back to the channel. You joined me today in the back seat of my Tesla Model 3 Highland, where I'm going to be taking you through some more accessories that I think might be useful. See, a company reached out to me called Jowua, and they make premium Tesla accessories, and they asked me if there was anything in their catalogue that I thought would be of interest for me to test, for you, the audience. And so I carefully chose some products that I thought were perfect for families running a Tesla Model 3. So today I'm going to open the box with the products in, and we'll go through them and install them one by one, and you can see if there's anything in there that you think would be useful for your car. Stay tuned, look forward to showing you more. Now, as I said, I purposely chose the items from Jowua that had a real family theme because it's clear to me, particularly from the popularity of my practicality of a Model 3 video, that this is a family car to a lot of people. And so therefore, I wanted to try and highlight ways that you can make it a bit more family applicable. And maybe if you're considering a Model 3, just to highlight how you can make it, again, just a better fit for what you need from the car. So I started with gaming controllers. Now, the reason for that is that every single Tesla, whether it's an S3, X or Y, has a screen in the front and they all have games built in. So everybody with a Tesla can play games. Now, you can use a PS4 or a PS5 controller or an Xbox controller, I think. You pair them with the car, but then obviously you're taking them away from a console somewhere. So I like the idea of dedicated controllers out here. But also, if you have a newer Model S, Model X or Model 3 Highland like this one, then you have a screen in the back as well. So in which case your players could be sat in the back while the driver is driving them on a journey. So it means they can play against each other or just as a one-player game and be entertained and quiet in the back. So I think there's a real place for these. So I said a pair. One is brown and one is black, but essentially, as you can see, they offer wireless, multi-platform, easy multi-device switch, and they're small and lightweight. So let's have a look at one. So if I start with the black one here, when you open it up, inside, little guide to all the buttons and what it is and what it does, which is great. It's really helpful. On the inside, you've got a how to pair. So it literally gives you instructions. You can pair it with your PC, your Tesla, and Apple and Android devices. So it's not just limited to the car. You can use these games if you're if you're using, say, an iPad and you've got games on there. You can pair with these controllers and use them to play on there. User guide is on QR, as is the product information, which is fab. And then you got the controller itself, which is here. It's very similar to kind of the original Xbox controller. I'll put one on screen now, like from the original Xbox, which I do actually have upstairs. I bought that because I quite like the look of Halo a million years ago. Let's take these rubber bits off to protect. You've got dual controllers, you've got a directional there, and then you've got your X, Y, A and B, which is definitely Xbox themed. So that's cool. Seems comfortable enough. I'd like probably slightly longer arms, but at the same time, you want to be able to store the thing in a door pocket easily, or even, no, not so much in the back of the seat, but it's having the options to be able to store it, so you don't want it to be too big. So there's the black one. Inside there, you've got the so these rubber bits to protect it. You've got the instructions, USB-A to USB-C, so a charging cable for the unit. Also in there, you've got the dongle. So if you're connecting this wirelessly, which you inevitably will in this car, then you've got a USB-A dongle to receive the signal, little pairing button on the back. You have a USB-C to USB-A adapter. And then you have the controller too. So exactly the same in every way, except because this is the brown one, it's got this little wood effect across the top here. Now, the next item I want to show you is the 6D invisible foldaway car mount. So this is a MagSafe wireless charging mount. Let's get in there. Again, nice premium box. And if we pull it out, exactly the same format, and that you've got this little guide on top telling you what it is. And inside, there it is. So let's have a look at this. So the idea here is that this goes on the back of the central screen. So you've got the option to be able to put your phone on display alongside the screen instead of just on the wireless charger below. Now, the reason you might find that useful is, as good as the map and the nav is on the Tesla, it is very good. It uses Google Maps. At the end of the day, you know, that's probably the best map system in the world. However, while on the latest software update they did add locations of cameras, fixed cameras for example, Nothing is quite as good as Waze, in my view. Third-party app, you can install that on your phone for free, and what that gives you is, yes, it's all the fixed speed cameras, but it's also movable cameras, issues with regards potholes, maybe an accident, or something that would maybe slow your journey down. People tend to share it on Waze, and so in which case that insight from that is going to be better than the one that's on the map. So my theory was, with this, you could have both. It's very easy when you've got children in the car to be distracted, and that's when you miss things, and that's when maybe your speed creeps up a little bit, or maybe you don't notice a pothole, or maybe you're going, said, a little bit too quick and you don't notice that there's a camera coming up. Waze being on display is a very family-friendly thing, because otherwise, you know, you do run the risk of maybe being caught out with maybe not paying as much attention as you should, which of course isn't safe, but you know, give yourself as good a chance as you can, which is why I thought that was a good family accessory. Now, as you saw with the controllers, they have USB-A dongle, that's the word I'm looking for. But of course, you've only got so many USBs in the Tesla. Just so you know, by the way, in the Highland, I know in my previous Tesla, I had a USB-A and a USB-C in that front center console. Whereas now that front center console has no power switches. You've got your two USB-Cs at the back, and you've got a single USB-C in the rear armrest storage. And then you've got your USB-A in the glove box, which is in every Tesla since 2021, because that's where they put a little memory stick, and that's where all the camera images are stored. When you leave your car parked up and it's in Sentry mode, the videos are stored on that. And if you are driving along and any of the cameras around the car are recording activity around you, so essentially a dash cam, again, everything's stored on that memory card. So that's our memory stick. So therefore, that USB-A in the glove box is important because it does that. But what this does is gives you some versatility around that. So basically, this is, and again, it's all Jowua branded again. It does look and feel really premium. I really like it. So this is a 4-port USB dash cam hub. So it is designed for this car. When you're looking at this here, if you can see this on the camera, you've got a single USB-A at the front, and on the back, you've got 3 USB-As going sideways. But then on top, you've got a little picture of a dash cam, and then you've got a 4th USB-A. So the idea is that you'll take the memory card out, the memory stick out of there, put this in instead, and then pop that in the top. However, the angle is quite difficult because it's not that big a glove box, which is where this accessory comes in. So these are sold as a kit, by the way. You buy the 2 controllers and these 2 as part of the kit. Now within here, you have essentially a 90-degree adapter, but there's a bit more to it. Because obviously when you're writing camera images to a memory stick, you need a really good write speed. So this, and it's written on it, this can transfer at 10 gigabytes per second, and it's a 90-degree USB adapter made to complement this and specifically the memory stick in a Tesla. So this goes on top into the hole where it's the USB-A, where it's labeled with the little picture of a dash cam. And then this will then plug straight into the USB-A in the glove box with the memory stick sticking out the side, which means it's going to be, there's room for it, so that's advantageous, but it still leaves you those valuable USB-As on the back, which if you go back to the controllers, if I grab the 2 sets of dongles out of there, you can see that these can then just slot into there. And then you have your connectivity to both controllers from the USB-A in the glove box without taking any of the USB-As or Cs anywhere else in the car. And then we're on to these 2 items. Now these I think are really quite interesting. So again, Jowua labeled, nice and premium looking box. And inside you have Jowua labeled bag. And these are sunshades for the roof. Now the reason why I thought this would be advantageous for somebody with a family is the glass roof in a Tesla is brilliant. I mean, it's a lovely, lovely feature. And it is tinted up top, and the tint does change just here, so it's a bit clearer for you, the driver, to be able to see out the back. And it does stop a bit of heat, but certainly not as much as having an actual roof. But I wouldn't give up the glass roof. It'd just be nice to maybe be able to choose between the 2. That's what this is for. Just to give you an idea, by the way, it's actually quite a nice warm day here in Northern England, and to touch that is really quite warm. So it gives you an idea. And I'm sat here with the window open while I'm filming this because I'm a bit toasty. And one of the reasons is this roof. So what this should do is maybe give you a respite. So if you've got small children in particular, and they're sitting in the back of the car for a long journey, and it's a bit warm, the aircon's nice, but it's also nice to maybe take some heat off them and some light off them as well. So inside the bag you have clips and a tool. So let's open these up. So the tool is the pry tool that I've become quite familiar with. I've used these on a number of accessories. You've got a small end and a big end. And then these clips will work probably the same way as the sunglasses holder clip that I reviewed not long ago, which I still think is a great accessory, in that they'll probably just hook right over the edge here. So it's probably just a case of using the tool and just prying that open a little bit and then just putting these in until they click into place. Yeah, so the idea behind that is that it's going to go in, if you can see the shape of it, it's going to be designed to go in and over the top. So you're left with this sort of little hook that will then hold this in place. The sunshade installation guide is just a sheet of paper with nothing on the back, but just a QR code on the front. So that will allow me, presumably, just to bring up instructions. So it's put a link to the product itself, and you can scroll down and learn more about it. And you've got installation storage. So if I click on that, I can see that it's just a case of putting the clips where they tell you to put them in relation to the picture. So let's start with these ones in the back. So the first one seems to go just up here. So if I just pry this open a little, put that in. Oh, and that literally is it. That is as straightforward as it gets. Okay, so grab the second one. I'm not sure you need the prying tool, if I'm honest. Open that up, slide it in. Job done. I'll line it up with the light like I have on this side. And then the next one is about here by the looks of things. So pry that open a little bit, push that in. Well, this one's a bit more stubborn. Push that in. Oh, there we go, it's gone in there. That's in place there. Next one is a little further back, so about here, and then pop that in. Yeah, and I can see that'd be really easy to get back out as well. I make a point, by the way, and I should emphasize this, that'll only test things that I can remove without any issue. So that's the back clips done. And then the front clips are just off to each side of here. Gosh, this really is very, very easy. Okay, so that's all the clips in, front and back. So not exactly a long job, still got a couple of spares, which is good. Pop that down, and then let's look at the items themselves. This is going to be huge in this car. Look at this roof. So there are inevitably two, a front and a back. I'm going to put the front one in because my GoPro is connected to the back, but it gives us an idea to be able to test it out. Is this going to spring and hit me in the face? No, not too bad. Not too bad. I've controlled it. It's okay. Okay, so it's really good quality. It's a nice material. It's intentionally, I purposely went for one. If you look here, I'll open the door, that you could still get light through. So if you can see that, we can see my hand behind. And then they're labelled as you've got it says Jowua on one side of this label, and then on the other side it says this side up. So therefore we know which side goes facing the ceiling and which side faces me. The label needs to go at the front of the car. So if I then slide this into here, keep it above the clips, which to be fair, it's got some flex on it anyway, so it's not a big deal. Make sure it's right into the sections. And let's pop this one up and see how this one fits. So again, just a case of having the thing hit me in the face. Oh, there we are. Right, so let's get it past my head. And then just this last one there, and we're up. I mean, it's cutting out a lot of the sun. It's immediately impacting kind of comfort levels from that. I don't think it's, it seems to coincide nicely with where the tinted glass is less tinted. So in terms of protecting from the back, I don't think you're going to lose visibility, but you have cut the sun out. It drops the headroom a little bit because it's not completely flush against the roof, but at the end of the day, if there's a child sat here, that's not going to be a problem for them. So that's number one. The next thing, so I'm putting my Jowua storage bag away. Incidentally, the size of these is quite intentional. I'm realising now what a confined space this is to open boxes. But the Jowua bags are about the same size as the front and the under boot, the little storage bit under the boot. So you can pop them down there out of the way when you're not using them, but you've got quick access to them. Okay, so in here you've got more clips, another prying tool, another single sheet QR link. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Okay, so once again, it takes me to the product page. And if I scroll down, installation, make sure the tag locates at the upper left, the side up icon faces up, so outwards, and the Jowua logo faces the car interior. Unzip the zipper, then insert to the open area and zip up the zipper. Insert the sunshade. Okay, so now we're in the front of the car. Now, according to the guide, looks relatively straightforward. It's just a case of putting the clips here and the same place on that side. Again, a case of prying that to get, actually I can get my finger in it, I don't even need to. So that seems, I mean, it's not in the way, you can barely even see it's there. And then the same on this side. And then the screen cover itself is a different material to the ones in the back. It's got a nice sort of metallic silvery finish too, which is good. I like that, looks good. Which I guess is for the outside and black's on the inside. So we're gonna try and open this without getting hit in the face. And, oh, here it comes, there we go. First bit of advice, maybe consider doing that outside of the car. And then if I unzip this, like the instructions said, which goes around the mirror, yeah, it really doesn't like both being up at the same time. To be fair, that even without clipping them up, I suppose it is keeping most of the sun away. You just got to push it up at the sides. Yeah, I mean, it works. It's dark. It's definitely blacking out everything except this top bit here. But presumably at this point, you're not going to be in the car. And actually, as it turns out, by that not being in the way of that camera, it means you can also keep an eye on the inside of the car. If your car is parked up for the day, perhaps you're trying to keep the sun out of it, but you still want to be able to check it's okay, in which case that's actually inadvertently quite useful. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel like it's going anywhere. It's a pretty solid fit, but it's going to do the job of reflecting the heat. So yeah, I can see the appeal of that. I'm going to get this out of the way, just so we've got some natural light coming in. Taking it down, just unhook it off the mirror, and then just pull it out. Now, I know from watching this, to take it down, said really hard to do inside a car, but not that hard. There you go, all that without actually getting out the car. I like that. And as I imagined, when you are done with them, and you've got both covers back in the bag, you can come around to the boot. And inside, once you've got the cover removed for under the boot, you can just drop them in and they fit absolutely perfect. Let me just spin the camera around, I'll show you. There you go, perfect fit. And you can still put all your shopping and bits on top of it. Or just cover it up and make it go away. Okay, so here's the glove box. If you know from my previous video about the sexy buttons, I have a button back here, and if I hold my finger on it, it opens the glove box, which is pretty cool. And then at the back of that glove box, which I'm just going to take all these bits out just so you can see, this unit comes into its own, I guess, because in terms of space, you're going to need this for it to fit. So if I pop this unit into there, so that should, in theory, give me full functionality. So there's a spare USB, and I can see the dongles are flashing. Okay, so with the dongles in there, I've gone ahead and paired these now, which is just a case of turning them on, sliding it over to the dongle mode, and then you hold your finger on the little sync button on top. You get a flashing blue light on here, and then you push the sync button on the dongle, and then they both flash, and then they both go solid. That's got a blue light, that's got a blue light, and I've done the same thing on this one, and they're connected. So if I now go to games, so arcade, let's try Beach Buggy Racing, and so it says there's two controllers connected. You can actually play this game ridiculously using the steering wheel and the pedal and the brake of the actual car, but it makes the wheels turn outside the car, so you just weigh tires down. So okay, you've got the option of 2 players. Both controllers then choose their car, both in a Model 3, obviously. Oh, it's there, it's the button on top, so there we go. Accelerate and then turn with that. That is pretty quick. I'm not very good at this. So that's controller 1, and then controller 2. Fully operational. That's cool. So yeah, so the controllers work a treat. So let's come out from the games. Let's pop those aside, and then let's install the phone holder behind this center console. So this rotates, but it only seems to rotate so far. So that's as far that way as it goes. and then it rotates that far. So it's about slightly over 90 degrees, maybe like 100 degrees. So what I want is to make sure that the high end is up there, and then it can rotate round to there at the very least. So at the very, your passenger maybe could be charging their phone there. I know the wireless bits are there, but at least they can maybe be looking at the phone while they're driving as well. So if I take this protection bit off, I want to make sure that's clean and grease free, which I'm confident it is. Let's open that, so then it will allow it to stick. If I try and measure that I'm relatively central, it's quite sticky. That looks upright to me, so that's my 90 degrees. Push the handle to lock it in place, and we're done. That seems pretty durable, to be fair. And that can rotate in either direction and slide in and out, so you don't have to have it all the way away from the screen. That rotates a little bit, and said you've got a USB-C charger on the back, so you can put your phone either there, or if you want it, you can put it up top. So I'll go with this work one again. Yeah, so if you've got Waze on, you can even angle it towards the driver a bit. You can have the extra little warning if there's something coming up that might get in the way. Or, said if your passenger's wanting to maybe play a game on their own phone and they don't want to hold it, or maybe they're reading something, or something that obviously won't distract the driver, then they can just have their phone there and access it. And because it slides in and out, they can get as close to the unit as they want it to be, which I think is pretty cool, actually. I like that. And when you're not using it, the whole point of it is that, and one of the things I liked about it is it's hideable. So you just rotate that, let's bring it up a little bit, rotate that behind, and then just tuck it away. So either driver can't see anything, and you can see on the GoPro how it looks from that side, but I can't see it, so it's out of my sight and mind. The power cable, you then have to run down here into these gaps and then down the side right the way to the USB-Cs at the back, which I don't love. But if you remember, there's a spare socket on that multi-adapter on the glove box in there. So arguably, you could probably just feed it down into the glove box somehow. So yeah, there you have it. There's your accessories. We have the sun protection on the roof, which I will grab the GoPro and just show you around. Definitely reducing the amount of sunlight that's coming in. It looks tight enough here. Look, there's very little give. I can really see the appeal of that. It doesn't affect headrooms, particularly in the front, because obviously there's quite a lot of room in a Tesla. And then in the back, said I don't think my visibility is any worse for it, but it does said just sit a little bit lower. There is a little bit of a gap there, but I'm wondering if that's just because of the way it's been sat in packaging for a long time, and maybe that'll just work its way out. All in all, I think there's a genuinely useful family accessories, and hopefully you agree, and obviously hopefully you found this video useful. There are more accessories reviews to come, so please do stay with me, and if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so now, so then you get to see all the videos when I launch them. You don't have to watch them, it'd be great if you do, but you don't have to, and I'll try and give you a bit of a synopsis right at the start so you know what you're signing up for. But at least you've got an idea about the various accessories that are available for your Tesla Model 3, the one you've got or the one you're considering. I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.